Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch. I am Shesh, not no way, the off-grid oracle. Welcome to our channel, and welcome to the other side of the mountain, and welcome back to the forest. Getting a lot done here. I just did another little. I had to start this one over. I rambled too much on the other one, so I just want to jump in here and give you guys a card read. But I rambled on and on and on. Maybe I'll do a little short. So I'm taking out some of these other trees here, and I don't know, feeling defensive, but about how have to explain forest management, and so, but I'm not going to be hanging on that too long. Yeah, we're going to give little guy a treat. So, yeah, you guys are here for tarot. That's his second treat, so he's stoked. But yeah, you guys are here to check energies, I guess. Let's listen to me rant about how to manage the forest. But still, nonetheless, the one point I was making, though, that was valid, is that in Genesis it does state, if we listen, if we want to, go to the Bible, that man and woman were created to attend to the forest. Okay, look, guys, that's enough. Out. Nope, that's enough. You're gonna get in the way, man. And so that's how I kind of look at it too. It's like, well, the forest, yeah, it could establish its own equilibrium for sure, but we've always kind of also managed it. It's been part of being human being. It's a big part of being human being, And it's like out here, in particular, the people out here, the First Nations people, they managed this forest out here with fire. That's what they did. They kept it clear because they managed it because they had the acorns, and so they were always their trip was every year they'd have to rake up all the leaves because like they'd wait until the acorn would drop because like what happens with acorns is that there's the fly that lays the worms in the acorns, and so the fly, it starts its life cycle out in the soil, and then it makes a fly, becomes a fly, from larva into a fly, and then it flies up into the canopy of the oak tree, and then it bores a hole in the acorn, and it lays its egg in the acorn, or it lays its egg in the acorn. I'm not sure if it bores a hole, but if before or after it comes out. But then the ones that have the worm in them, then those acorns, they drop first because they're not because they got bad, because they got the worm in them, and they drop to the forest floor, and then the worm comes out, right, and turns into a fly, and then goes up in the canopy again, and then it infects all of the acorns on the tree. Is how it works. And so with the people out here, the First Nations people, every year they would keep the forest floor really, really clean, right? But then every season, after that first drop of acorns, they would go in, they'd rake up all the leaves, they'd rake up all the acorns that dropped, and then they'd burn them. And then that would get rid of the larva, right? And then that second flush of flies wouldn't happen, and then that would save the rest of the acorn harvest. And so all the other acorns wouldn't have worms in them because they'd get rid of those first acorns that fell, And so it was essential for their survival to always do that. And so every family had like an allotted space in the forest that was like their area that they all worked on, And so by doing that collectively, they kept the entire forest clean, and free of the dander and free of the fly that now infects all the acorns. Every acorn has a fly in it, but that's because nobody, or a larva in it, and that's because nobody manages the forest like that anymore, And that's just one way, and like there's always other things that are going on with the fir trees and stuff that could be managed with fire and by having good distance between the trees, because out here we're supposed to have distance between our trees. They're not supposed to be right on top of each other. We got the Two of Cups with the Three of Swords right there. It's interesting energy, right? That's so we're going to go ahead and say a little prayer to Mother and Father God and say we thank you both very, very much for everything that you do and the higher understanding that you give us and the work that you do, so that we can sit in that Two of Cups energy and not be ever stuck in the Four of Cups energy where we don't see how you work in our lives. Mother and Father, we love you very much. We really do thank you. Thank you for always leading, guiding, and directing us, and always giving us the power to overcome anything that we have to overcome, and giving us the strength to be the best that we can, even in our weakest moments. We love you, Father God. Thank you. And we want to say thank you to Spirit, because Spirit is go Team Spirit, man. I wish Spirit was doing the halftime show. I didn't even watch it. I was just joking. That was a dumb joke. We got Justice with the Empress card right there. Okay, so Justice with the Empress card. It's our time to shine, is what that is. That Justice with the Empress card is that it's our time to shine. Okay, you guys. So it's like we're really coming into a time where everything is going to be validated, and it's going to be truth. It has to be, you know, the empire that we're building now, it cannot succumb to the same BS of what the empire is that's crumbling around us, which has been falsity and lies, and far worser things than that, right? It's despicable at this point, what we're seeing, you know. And so we're in a time where we really need to seek justice. We need to be justice. We have to stand in everything that we know is true. That's what I was kind of ranting on in that other video that I had, why I had to start over again. But it's like, that's where we're at right now, because like I was talking about in there, see, it's like we're in a time where we really have to know ourselves, you know, and that's the justice where we're going to stand in, because if we don't, we could easily be hijacked by what's going on around us. You know, it's a Mr. Smith situation. You know, it's like, I've been thinking about this a lot. People are being triggered in certain ways by outside sources, and so there's not a lot of justice around us. You know, it's like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now. Things don't make a whole lot of sense. The truth that we know to be true should not be true. Honestly. And so now I think a lot of people are asking, and this is where that anxiety is coming from right now. So like, this is where, like, I've been feeling a little bit of anxiety. I've been struggling with the anxiety, but it's been like outside sources. It's been like sent at me. I'm feeling it's not from within me. It's like a drug almost, you know. It's like I feel that it's induced, you know, and I don't, I have to stop myself in those feelings and go, wait a minute, I don't honestly feel this way. It doesn't make any sense. So we have to give justice to ourselves right now by recognizing that there's so many things happening right now that are so heavily triggering, you know. And so we got to really stand in our own. We got to know ourselves thoroughly with this justice card and be absolutely 100% authentic to ourselves, no matter what the world around us is trying to get us to think otherwise. Okay, because that's the anxiety that I've been feeling, is that like just that feeling of like you're not doing it right. Like, it's just like, you know, it's like you know, like that. I don't know if it's hard to explain, but maybe you've been feeling the same thing too. You know, I've been feeling that in this justice card, it's like, I know I'm justified, I know I'm right, but damn, the world around me sure is willing to see things very differently, right? And so they can't be trusted. That's what I'm trying to say here, you know? And so we got a lot of energies around us right now who are willing to accept the unacceptable. They're just going to put their heads down and keep their mouths shut. And we're being asked as the chosen ones not to do that, you know? And so in that move right now, there's a lot of anxiety. I seen that devil's card. Yeah, the devil's card right there. That's that anxiety, you know. And so we're wondering right now how to move forward, just like in a way that is justified in an unjustified world, man, because there's no justice in this world right now, you know. How could there be? I mean, come on. If you don't feel crazy right now with what's going on around us, energetically speaking, then you're not paying attention. So yeah, it's a heavy load. We've been carrying a heavy load. All right. And so with this justice card, with this 10 of wands right here, that's that time that we're coming into right now, where it's all going to make sense. Okay. That's what they're telling us. And so it feels a little bit anxietal because we haven't experienced that before. We haven't. We've always had to carry our load on our own with this 10 of wands right here and that justice card. And we've always had to stand in our own truth, right? And hold that load on our own against a lot of resistance, you know? It's like most of us that are resonating here on this channel, we know that the struggle is real. You know, with this 10 of wands, the struggle is real. But we've always been willing to carry that burden, knowing that eventually, look at that the truth would be revealed. You know, we've always known that our truest truths is what we've carried so heavily. The things that have kept us in isolation, kept us feeling set out from the rest of everybody else, carrying our load on our own out here, where it's like, damn, it sure would be a lot easier if we could get some help with this. But we haven't really received that help because everybody's always been kind of not willing to carry that load with us, right? And so it's like the truth that we've always been willing to be like, no, man, this is like for real. It's like we always be real passionate about it. That's 10-1s. And so it's like, we've always been like, no, man, we got to do something about this. Everybody's like, we don't want to talk about that stuff here at the party. We're having fun. Why do you want to talk about all that crazy stuff? That's not even probably true, And it's like, well, yeah, it has been. And yeah, a lot of people always are kind of treating us like we don't really belong because of the truths that we've been wanting, the things that we're passionate about. Like, hey, when are we going to get out here and fucking expose this shit? When are we going to get out here and make sure that we do right by the people who everybody's doing wrong against? We don't want to be oppressed. We don't want to be lied to. And everybody's like, we don't care. I don't really think about that stuff, I just don't. Like, you're kind of weird. Well, now our truth is being vindicated because those individuals who all want to sit around and act like we're crazy because they thought, oh, you're crazy. You're just talking about crazy stuff that we don't want to talk about. That doesn't feel good, Well, no, it doesn't feel good. And we carried that load for a long time by ourselves, speaking them truths, trying to be the one that was like, hey, look, if I could carry the truth like this, then you carry the truth like this too. And everybody's like trying to shoot you the fuck down for it, right? Well, justice is right around the corner, you guys. You're going to be vindicated. We're going to be vindicated. We are being vindicated. That's been in the interest. I mean, justice is vindication. Little guy, get over here. Little guy tries to run off, Moon card. Trust yourself. And so, with this justice card, that 10 of wands, spirit, like, now what? Now what, right? Now what? We're going to ask now what? Yeah, see, it's interesting. Like, I should post the one that I stopped. I just stopped it, but I might go ahead and post it. It only went in like 13 minutes, but I was just yakking a lot. But I was talking about our energy having moving forward now is like especially with like dealing with others right now. We have to be in this strength card energy. See, like we got to be the higher one right here and have to understand that like Jesus said, Father, forgive them for they know not what they have done. They know not what they do. And we're really in a time right now where everybody is on remote control. I mean, man, the NPC players, like the non-player characters, are heavy duty out here, and they don't really they're not really aware of enough to be aware of the fact that they're getting hijacked, And so it's like there's certain little things, like I was talking about, like with the CIA, they had like warriors, or they have like programs where they could train people, and they could be like teacup, and they'll just like jump up and kill everybody in the room or whatever, Well, that's how kind of people are right now. We don't understand, like we do, because we're too thick-headed. We got thick heads, we got thick skulls. They couldn't penetrate beyond our spiritual protection. We're called ones. We're chosen ones. And so we're too thick skinned, too thick skulled for them to get in there and manipulate us that way. That's why we've always stood in our truth, no matter what everybody else thought. Like we're like, no, we don't give a damn. We're gonna carry that load on our own. What makes us passionate? The truth. Let's make us passionate. The truth. What's the heaviest burden we carry? Our truth. And what sets us aside? Our truth. And so now that everybody is getting a big dose of that truth that we've always carried, we have to be Gentile with them. And we have to be aware of the fact that we need to protect ourselves from them, right? Just like this one here, like it's taming the beast. They're taming the beast. And we have to be aware when we're dealing with others that in any minute, they could be activated and they could become a lion, a vicious lion, and attack us, with a roar, because they see that we're calling seed. They understand that we're chosen ones. Our frequency, the vibration of our frequency, it might set them off a little bit, and it's like everybody's got these phones in their pockets and all these stuffs, there's so many ways that others could be activated right now that we have to tread lightly. We have to move with caution, and we have to be protecting ourselves. We have to be very aware of the fact that we are trying to tame a wild beast. It's like, yeah, we're more powerful, but we're not going to do it with force and power. We have to do it with finesse, and so as we try to enlighten the masses right now, we got to take it easy on ourselves, right? Because we're trying to teach them to help us carry that load right now. And we can't be breaking them off either, though, because like the burden that we've carried for our eons, for our many transits, has oftentimes been so heavy that we could barely carry it, and we're very powerful ones. And so we can't just open their eyes up so fully, it might destroy them. You know what I'm saying here? That's, that should make a lot of sense. Like there's some who can, some who can't, and some who never will. And we got to know the difference right now. with that strength card. That's exactly what that's saying. And we got no difference right now, you know. You got the hangman here on the bottom of the deck is in the upright position, and that's telling me again with this lion right here, you know, is like we're trying to lead the masses towards ascension. You know, we're trying to help others come out of the pile. Cause like right now, we're all crawling through a mountain of horse shit. We're chosen ones, and so no matter what, we're gonna come out on the other side smelling like a rose. Well, as many that we could bring with us and teach them that trick to, as many that we could teach that, we'd go, hey, you too can ascend. You can come out on the other end of this smelling like a rose too. Then we're doing our job. That's us doing our job. But we're gonna have to do it because you gotta understand. It's like, well, if you were just sleeping peacefully, and then you woke up all of a sudden and realized that you're stuck smack dab in the middle of a mountain of fucking shit, and you're only halfway through it, you know, and you gotta keep going to get to the other side. You know, are you gonna, you know, we gotta understand they're gonna be angry, right? And so they're going to be crying about it. They're going to be not wanting to be in the situations that they're in, because it's kind of like one of them things, you know, they should have woke up sooner before they got hauled into that mountain of fucking shit, you know? And so it's like, unfortunately for us, we've kind of been drug along with the masses, you know, but that's okay, because we've known we were swimming in shit this whole time, right? And we've been trying to tell them. And so now when they wake up and they're kicking and screaming, and we gotta like keep leading and guiding and directing them, you know, like they're no longer sleepwalking. I mean, it was a little easier when they're sleepwalking. Well, they're no longer sleepwalking. And so now that they're aware, we gotta make sure that we can lead, guide, and direct them so that they can keep their composure and make it through the other pile of that other end of that pile of shit. Okay, if that makes any sense. It might. It might make sense to me, you know. And I feel that like there's a lot of us, a lot of energies around us right now that are drowning in that shit, you know, because it's like really, we're in some times right now where it's just too easy to be called out, to call them out, you know, because it's kind of like my stance is with the whole deal. I've known forever how atrocious, my entire life. I've always known the atrocities, the horrible things that were going on around us in the name of mammon, in the name of money, you know. And so like it's no surprise to me, you know, how things are. And like this read's funny, man. My energies are off. I don't know. I'm struggling with my energies. I don't know if you guys can feel it, but we got the two of wands here, right? Which is us trying to find our place in this world right now, today. You know, this is really like we know kind of like, it's like what's next, you know. And that's what I've been asking myself here big time, because like I've been kind of waiting to emerge out of this pile of shit for a long time. You know, I've been crawling through this mountain of shit my entire life, and I've always smelled like a rose. But now it's like, as I come out to this other side here of this chaos, and we're standing in the right, because that's the thing. It's like, we're like, well, wait a minute, like everything's starting to really make sense, and it's always made sense, but it's just that nobody can question that judgment any longer. And so it's like, we see clearly now as to what's going on in the world. Okay. And so it's like, we see clearly what's going on around us, very clearly. And a lot of people now around us are going to need that same guidance from us. You know, this is us kind of being able to like look into the future, in a sense of like, we've known what lied ahead. You know, it's like we've known what was coming, like we've known what was coming. And so this is spirit trying to get us right now to really ground ourselves. And honestly, it's like, trust ourselves right now. Okay. And I keep saying this with these energies, I keep saying this, but they want us to give ourselves credit for carrying that load the way that we've carried it. You know, they want us to feel that we've, they want us to feel justice, you know, they do, but they understand that it's hard right now, because we are trying to look like we're trying to find ourselves in this world. And what Spirit's telling me right now, though, is that what we need to do is just keep being in ours, keep being in our strength, being in this energy where we're really taming that beast inside of ourselves too, and we're not allowing the anxiety of the masses to overcome us, and so it's like we could separate ourselves from that tensity that we feel right now, because there is a lot of tension in the ethers, there's a lot going on, but we don't have to allow that to penetrate into our inner kingdom and affect us right now. That's the justice that we're going to have served here. And so that spirit saying, yeah, you've carried this load for a long time, and so you could continue to carry it, and you've been right in carrying it, and so your reward is relax. Don't try too hard to see yourself in the world. Wait until the world gets to the other side of that shit, that mountain of shit, and then they can start to see themselves more in a different light, and then they're going to see you in the world with them. They're going to see you as a part of the world, instead of you feeling so like, it's like this one here is like bigger than the globe in their hand, And so it's like the things that you've been carrying, yeah, you're a chosen one, And so we have to allow them to go through it the same way we went through it with this strength card, until they're going to be able to really see us fully in a way that allows us to also see ourselves in this world, And so the world's going to change, and it's going to become a better place once this process is finished, And once it is that way, then we're going to be the big shots. That's what I keep trying to say. But we're going to be the big shots in the sense that God has destined us to be, It's like we can step into our called path and our higher purpose and take action in that position in the world as we see ourselves, okay? And that can manifest in a lot of different ways, for all of us, for many of us, but it's God ordained, no matter what. With the Hierophant there on the bottom of the deck. We get one more here. All right, Spirit. I think we're getting somewhere here. A little rusty, I guess. Take one day off. I forgot how to read the cards, What the hell's up with that? Damn, though, it's like... And that's what the energies have been, okay? And so we got to trust the process right now, you guys. If you've been feeling that anxiety, if you've been feeling any of those lower energies, like you're just not good enough, or like you've been struggling, just focusing on things that are kind of a little bit more negative, when there's a lot of the things in your life that are very positive that you can be focusing on right now, don't let them do that to you, because they're doing that to you, okay? And so don't let yourself do that to you, but be aware right now. Yeah, because I got the Hierophant, and it's like, dude. Not much of a choice, we're the fool here, you guys. And so we trust God, and when we trust God, we don't get the energy of the devil that come onto us the way they do and make us feel like that inside, And so right now, our biggest strength is this Fool card. I've been saying that. That's that position that we're in right now of the 0, get ready to reset. And it's very exciting. And so we can't confuse excitement with anxiety, or replace excitement with anxiety. We need to maintain excited. We got to stay focused, stay positive, keep doing the things that we know are right, that are just. Stay true to that, right? 100%. Keep carrying our loads, keep washing your dishes, keep your house clean, and just stay focused. Stay you, stay true to you. Be everything that you want to be and see in this world, right? And then the world around you is going to become that. That's how we're going to manifest the brand new beginning out here. That's going to be extremely, extremely good. Because right now, there is a choice. The whole world's trying to choose right now. Right? But we've already chose, because we're the fool in the middle. And so we're the chosen ones that say, hey, there is no choice when you go with God, because you realize that this one can never exist without this one. And so who the hell is this mofo, right? Not even a choice. That's make-believe. This is everything that's real, God Most High, And so we know that, and we trust that. And to get that forward movement with the Chariot card right now, which is what we're really hoping for, we got to give it to God completely. And so we just got to trust, and we got to know, no matter how overwhelming it might seem right now, because it could seem a little overwhelming, it could seem a little bit controlling, it could seem a little bit obsessed, it could seem a little bit like all these horrible things that could give us anxiety. Stop worrying about it. The devil worries. The fool doesn't, because the fool walks with God full on, always, 1000%. And God has us, And so it's like they're really asking us right now with this Justice card and this 10 of Wands to really see that. and carry that load. Okay. And stay just, stay true to yourself. Talk nice to yourself. Okay. Like make it a point today and say, baby, you're doing a really, really good job. You know, it's like, hey, that was really good what you just did right there. That looked really nice. Like, or whatever it is, you know, tell yourself you love you, you know, say, I mean, God loves me, you know, and find ways in your life that you can see that and really express that, you know, be like, damn, look at that. What God did for me. They really love me, you know, they really, really love me. And I really love them for that. And just talk nice to yourself and just give yourself justice right now, because we are in a time where things are very complicated and there's a lot of distance between everybody, you know, and it's not natural, it's unnaturally caused, you know. And so right now we got to be our very best friends, because in this world today, it's really easy to fall into a habit that is not fully loving yourself, you know. And when we don't fully love ourselves, we don't stand fully in our light in the eyes of Father God, because that's what they want, Mother God. That's what they want. They want us to be the same, in the same union internally as they are as the Most High. So I don't know, it's a little different read, you guys. Um, but it's still good, you know. I'm sure there's something in here that we'll all use. I love you. I'm gonna get back to work over here, get back at it. So I don't know. I'll probably post this one because I gotta keep working and I'm gonna be tired this evening. I'm not gonna probably do another read this evening. I want to get one out there. Um, Hang in there, guys. It's been difficult. It really has been. And like I said, it's not even. It's like we got everything else covered. You know, it's just the energies have been difficult. You know, tense. You know, and so I hope that you all are doing very well. I hope that you're seeing a lot of the same good things in your lives as what I talk about here on the channel, which I'm sure we all do. You know, and I appreciate everybody who has liked, shared, commented, and subscribed. You know, thank you for the new subscribers. And, you know, we'll keep you coming back. And so peace out, y'all.